Hey there, welcome to episode 28 of the Maritime Gardening Podcast. And Greg, how are things in your neck of the woods today?
Oh, not quite as warm as I would like.
No.
This March seems to be not as Marchy.
Yeah, not
as I would
yet.
prefer, but we're getting there. We're getting some sun. We're getting some warm days here and there.
Yeah.
I think we've got a snowstorm or something coming next week.
Yeah, it looks that way.
A bit of a drag, but hopefully that's I keep thinking I'm the eternal optimist with this sort of thing. That's it, you know.
That'll be the last one.
You know, yeah, and then we're moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully that's it.
Cool. Yeah, we're getting there. We're having some warm spells and some winter left before it's actually spring, so we'll deal with it.
Yes.
So speaking of seasonal and unseasonal weather, what kind of things are you planning and thinking right now with regards to your gardening?
Well, for me, this is the time of year that you really start to think about next year's garden. Some people start putting their growing their transplants and that sort of thing. It's the time of year we start thinking about next year's garden. We reflect on our previous mistakes. I think we just had an episode on that. Yeah. And you plan out the space for the coming. At least that's what I do. I try to rotate things a little bit, do it in a clever way. I was just in my garden this morning. I noticed a patch of ground where there isn't a garden bed, and I keep swearing I'm not going to make my garden bigger, but no, there's a piece there that is just begging for a garden. Yeah. So originally, when I built my garden space, I had room to drive my ride-on mower all the way around the garden. But I don't need it. I don't mow any. It's all wood chips, so it's like, why am I, other than just driving it around for fun? So yeah, that should just be a garden bed. Forget that.
Cool. So you're fantasizing about your garden. That's
right. This is the time of year we start fantasizing about the coming year's awesome garden. It's going to be better than last year. You're going to do all the wrong things right. It's just going to be amazing, blah, blah, blah. And this is when we start thinking about the new seed varieties, what kind of seeds we're going to get. Some people buy their seeds, some people order their seeds. Yeah. If you're doing transplants, this is the time of year to start growing them. I don't do all my transplants this time of year. Actually, maybe we should do another whole episode on transplants.
Sure.
Some people start doing transplants this time of year. Maybe next episode we'll talk about transplanting. I've got a lot of thoughts on that topic. Sure. I was just writing in the that book I'm supposed to have by the end of this month. Yeah. Wrote a real big long spiel about my thoughts on transplants. So definitely let's talk about it there. Yeah. So leave it out of this one. Yeah. But we're thinking about seeds. Yeah. Right.
And speaking of seeds, we have a seed partner for our podcast, thankfully, and for this year at least, it's Mackenzie Seed. So we're glad to have them on board for that. And you see Mackenzie Seed in a lot of the retail locations that you might frequent, and one in particular, of course, would be Kent, which is our other partner. So if you're in your local Kent store, you can pick up your Mackenzie seeds there and see what they have to offer. So let's hear what you have to say about seeds, Greg.
Yeah, well, I thought it would be interesting. I have never used Mackenzie seeds before. I don't think I've ever used them before. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, not. Last year, someone just gave me a pack of wax beans that were Mackenzie seeds, and I planted a bed of them, and they were great. And I just ate the last of the pickled beans. I love pickling beans.
Oh yeah.
Just ate the last of them last week. So I guess I have planted one kind, but normally I've never used them before, and I thought it would be fun this year to grow my entire garden, or almost all of my garden, using seeds that you'd pick up at a hardware store.
And I would
just thought that would be interesting.
Yeah, and I would say, coming from you, who we've done episodes on saving seeds, and lots to talk about seeds. Why would Greg be doing that when he's probably got enough seeds to grow, as many gardens as he would like? Yeah,
so I don't save seeds from everything. And I've noticed over the years I tend to save a little more seeds every year. So I try a different variety. I don't save seeds from every one of my plants. Some of my plants are hybrids just because they're varieties that the family likes. So, my approach to gardening is the garden shouldn't be the master, that drives you with the whip. You do what you feel like doing.
Yeah.
You are a bit of a slave to the seasons. You have to do things when they need to be done within reason. And any one of those dates, there's a week or two, give or take, that you can, but generally speaking, you're driven by the season. But everything else, I don't like to feel like I have to do anything.
Right.
Gardening should be for me, gardening is a relaxing, meditative act.
Yeah.
It's a place I go to relax. I never feel rushed. Never. It's always, just a relaxing thing for me. So, I save the seeds I feel like saving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if anything's overly tedious or I just forget to or whatever, I don't. So, I save bean seeds and I save kale seeds and I save a few things like that, but I don't save everything. Also, a lot of those biennial plants, like all those greens, saving the seeds is a 2-year process. Right? You leave the plant in the ground, it sits there all winter, and then wherever that plant's growing, you can't put anything in that space the following year.
Yeah.
So it's a production, right? So. Yeah. I buy seeds every year. I save seeds, but I also buy seeds. I don't have seeds for everything. Right. If the world ended, part of the reason it was fun to save them is just to learn how to do it.
Right.
If I had to,
right.
Because I've done it now, if I had to, I know I could. And it's fun to do it year after year, and it's a good thing to do because you'll get varieties that are increasingly better suited to your growing conditions, right where you are.
Yeah.
To that end, that's another I had never used Mackenzie seeds before because I just assumed because they weren't in some sort of exotic, garden center that they weren't all heirloom or open pollinated.
Oh.
I didn't know. So I called Mackenzie Seeds when I was considering this and talked to one of their botanists, and it turns out a good many of them. And I'd noticed when I was looking on their website, which is currently under construction and being revised, they got a bigger, better new website very soon. Yeah. But a good number of their varieties are either heirloom or open pollinated, so you can save the seeds. If it's not open pollinated, heirloom are open pollinated seeds as well.
Okay.
Then like a hybrid plant it's one plant that's been pollinated with another plant, and they're looking for particular traits. But if that plant has babies, it doesn't necessarily resemble the parent.
Okay.
And they have hybrids as well. They got an incredible variety of seeds, actually. Mm-hmm. Talk more about that in a minute. But it turns out, I would say the vast majority, from what I can tell, of their seeds are open pollinated. So if you want to buy their seeds once and save them, you could. You could, like I do that, and of course I end up buying seeds every year because there's just certain things you want to try that are new, or maybe if you have a year where you just had a bad year, then those plants might not have the best seeds. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you want to start fresh and so on.
Sure.
Anyway,
so you're excited about that.
That helped change my mind as well, and I just thought it would be fun to do it that way instead of what I normally do, which is a little more exotic. But they have an incredible range of varieties. Yeah, and they're in the stores now. I went into Kent last week, and they've got everything there. All the seeds are there. You might want to buy yours before things start disappearing. Yeah. But they've got an incredible variety, and in addition to the sort of the typical categories of seeds, which is quite a vast. Let me see. Just looking at their main, $1.89 seeds, they've got about 100 different varieties of plant in the $1.89 category, and then they got the $1.99 category and the $2.29 category. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Anyway, they've got hundreds of different varieties of vegetable and herbs. But they also have these other lines of seeds. They've got what they call the Gusto Italia line and the Asian vegetable line. And I was really interested in some of the varieties in the Gusto Italia. I want to try growing fava beans this year. Yeah. And this year I just discovered, I had a friend that had a garden and she was growing fava beans. And I tried them. I was like, wow, this is a pretty good bean. remember last season we did an entire episode on beans, so you might, but I'm a big fan of beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try the Gusto Italia fava bean.
Cool.
It's got a big long name that I'm not going to try to pronounce, but it says fava.
Yeah.
Package with all the other Italian. They got another. I normally plant provider beans. They got a category called Bush Harvester Mangiatutu or something like that. So it seems like a similar one, but maybe a different flavor. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to try that. They got a variety of spinach called Matador, which is supposed to be like 2 feet high or something. 2 feet high. Can you imagine?
No.
You know, that's an impressive spinach. I hope I can pull that off. I hope mine get to that height. I love spinach, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't wait for May. You plant your spinach very early April, and May. It's one of the first real greens because it grows quite fast and likes the cool conditions.
Yeah.
And we gorge on it.
Yeah. It's good. It's
We're
very
sick
good.
of it by the time.
Yeah.
Once it gets hot, it starts going to seed and it bolts and it doesn't taste good anymore. And it's just no good. But by then, we've eaten so much spinach. The children are angry with me. And, we've had it. Anyway, so I'm going to try that out. And they get some, a lot of interesting varieties. What's the other one? King of Denmark. That's another variety of spinach. I'm going to focus on spinach here.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, it sounds like you've got some experimenting to do.
Yeah. This is going to be a different. Yeah, I'm going to change my. Last year I planted Nantes Scarlet carrots, which are very sweet, and this year I'm going to try Imperator because they're longer and they just they taste very good as well, and they're just very impressive because they're long.
Yeah.
They're big. Wow, look at the size of that thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to try a couple new beet varieties this year. And I'm going to try ground cherries this year. I don't know if I talked about them last season, but ground cherries, if you've never grown them, they're relatively easy to grow. And they grow these funny little plants, kind of tomato-like plant, I guess. I think they're in the same category, the nightshade. But they sometime in August, you get these the seeds form in these little, almost like tiny brown paper bags. They're about the size of a very small cherry. So they might be, a centimeter or centimeter and a half in diameter, but it's around. There's these little brown packages. They're green at first, but once they turn brown, that's when, and they are paper-like, that's when you pick them, and you open the package like a Hershey's Kiss.
Really?
There's this, and there's this little, actually, once they fall to the ground, that's when they're, like the instant they fall from the ground, that's when they're at their best.
Right.
And, my kids don't like them yet, but other kids, when we have other kids at our house, other kids like them.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't like, you open it up and it's got a funny taste. It kind of tastes like a mango and a pineapple.
Sounds
and a tomato.
good.
Mango, pineapple, tomato, we sort of taste really low on the tomato, though. It's not very acidic. It's very tropical tasting.
Wow.
But they grow here.
I'll have to try that. Why wouldn't your kids like that?
I don't know, man.
Why do kids do anything?
Explain to me why kids do or don't like anything.
Yeah.
Mystery to me.
Exactly. But I'll try some of those. They sound good.
My son wouldn't eat his porridge this morning because I put milk in it. Who doesn't like milk in porridge? I used to put cream in mine.
I put it in sometimes.
Oh yeah, if I could. If I wasn't totally lactose intolerant, I'd be putting cream. You ever have porridge with whipping cream in it? That's heaven. Oh,
that does sound good.
Oh, and butter,
Oh man,
that's good stuff.
How did we get here? Oh yeah, kids, right? Kids.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
They've got my wife really likes yellow zucchini, and they've got a variety called Gold Rush, which the zucchini I've been using, a yellow zucchini, which I get somewhere else, is a hybrid. So I can't say seeds. This Gold Rush is it's open pollinated. I don't know if it's open pollinated or if it's a heirloom. It's same thing. You can save the seeds.
Cool.
So
wicked. You got some seed experiments to do in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah.
And we're really excited to have this this relationship going with Mackenzie Seed, and of course Mackenzie Seed fits well with Kent because you can pick up your Mackenzie Seeds at Kent,
Yes.
and we would encourage you to do that, especially this time of year. So this is, in the coming weeks, this is the time to be putting the seeds in the ground. Is that right, Greg?
No. So the ground's still frozen. I was just my cold frames. The ground is not frozen, but everywhere else in the garden, if you try to jam a tool into the ground, you can't work the soil. It's frozen. I think, some of the beds less frozen than others. I've got one bed with about 6 inches of hay over it, and that was actually completely thawed 2 weeks ago, which is funny. Huh. But now it's frozen, but it's barely frozen. It's got about an inch or so of frosted, frozen soil, and the rest is soft. Yeah. But no, you wouldn't plant anything in the ground this time of year. I don't put anything in the ground until I hear those spring peepers.
Oh, yeah.
For me, that's the sign. Instead of using a calendar.
Yeah.
Because, especially these days with climate change and all that sort of stuff, the years are so variable. It's so hard to know. Instead of just following a calendar date, I'm trying to develop a system where I identify the season based on events that are happening in my backyard. Mm-hmm. I honestly think you could probably time the whole season to the stage of garlic.
Oh, yeah. Because
they're one of the first things that sprout. It's like, when the garlic's this high, you do this. When the garlic's that, I'm going to try to, I'm terrible at this sort of thing, but I'm going to try this year to really make note of all the different things and when I planted stuff. Because all those things that are, all your perennials and your, even your biennials, they're not going to grow until the conditions are right for them. Mm. Right? I mean, I can plant things when it's the wrong time because I'm not connected to the outdoors like my plants are.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty earthy, outdoorsy sort of guy, but I can't go outside and just smell the air and tell if the trout are biting.
Yeah.
I just don't know those things. Animals, we're probably the only animal on Earth that can't do that.
Yeah.
Every other living thing in the Earth is kind of plugged in. We're plugged out.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that if you're watching the stages of growth of various things that are actually outside, they'll probably tell you when it's time to do everything. I really want to work on making notes of that, because everything else you're supposed to look at zone charts and dates and all this sort of stuff. But in any given year, spring can come a week early, 2 weeks late, so on and so forth. And you can waste a lot of time planting things too early.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Or if it's the kind of year where you can plant stuff early, well, then you get huge gains if like if the peepers started, and we're singing for like a week in end of March, I put my seeds in the first day of April. Why not? Like obviously they're going. I mean, if they're making that sound, they're mating. They're amphibians.
Yeah.
Amphibians don't mate when it's
when it's minus 15.
They are cold-blooded.
Yeah.
There's got to be reasonable heat for that sort of thing to be happening.
Yeah. 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 No, that's good. That's good advice.
I do start my transplants this year. Mm-hmm. But this year, and last year as well, for the most part, I'm not doing them indoors. I'm doing them outdoors, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, next episode. Yeah, cool.